So continuing with the last lecture, in today's lecture we are going to see degree of relationship, ordinarity constraints, participation constraints, and relationship types. These points, and if time permits, we are going to see for the notations of ER diagram. So in the unit number 2, that is database models, we have started with the ER model and we have seen the entity sets, attribute, different types of attributes. And then in the last lecture, we have seen the relationship sets. Continuing with this, in today's lecture, we are going to see what is meant by degree of relationship, what are the cardinality constraints as well as participation constraints. And there are different types of relationship that we are going to see. And there are different notations of ER diagram that we are going to see in today's lecture. So what is meant by degree of relationship? The number of participating entities in a relationship defines the degree of relationship. As here it is number of participating entities in a relationship defines the degree of relationship. How many entities are participated in the relationship is called as degree of relationship. So there are different types of or there are different degrees of relationship. First one is called as binary. In this binary relationship, it is called as degree 2. Why it is called as degree 2? Because in this relationship, two entities are present. This is our first entity, then which is related, found the relationship to another entity. This is our entity E1, this is our entity E2, and this is our relation. So in this relationship, we have two entities. This is our first entity and this is our second entity. There are two entities. That's why it is called as binary, and degree is saying 2, because there are two entities. Now you can guess what is the ternary, a degree 3 relationship, wherein you will have three entities. Suppose we have two entities E1, E2, and we have E3, which is in relationship. In this relationship R, there are three entities E1, E2, and E3. That's why the relationship degree is degree 3. It is called as ternary degree of relationship. Now you can understand NRA degree. As number of entities are present, that number of degree is present in that particular relationship. If there are 4 entities, then it becomes degree 4, and 4 degree of relationship it is called. Okay, so this is called as degree of relationship. In simple words, what is meant by degree of relationship is, in that particular relationship, in this particular relationship, how many entities are participated, it is called as degree of relationship. If 2 entities are participating, then it is called as binary. If 3 entities are participating, it is called as ternary. And if 4th, then 4th degree. 5th, likewise, there are n degree for the degree of relationship. So this is called as degree of relationship. Next is mapping cardinality constraints. Okay, what is meant by mapping cardinality is, it expresses the number of entities to which another entity can be associated via a relationship set. What is meant by mapping cardinality is it expresses the number of entities to which another entity can be associated via a relationship set. Suppose these are the two sets. This is our set entity set E1. This is our entity set E2. And these are the elements present in this entity. And these are the elements present in this entity. So how many elements of E1 is participating in the relationship with elements present in the E2? This is called as mapping cardinality. Again, I am repeating, this mapping cardinality expresses the number of entities to which another entity can be associated. From this entity set E1, number of entities is associated with entities present in the entity set E2. It is called as mapping cardinality. It is most useful in describing binary relationship sets. It is mostly used to describe binary relationship set. And keep in mind, binary means two. This binary means two. So binary relationship means a relationship which consists of two entities. It is called as binary relationship. So for binary relationship set, the mapping cardinality must be one of the following types. So these are the different types of mapping cardinality for binary relationship. First one is called as one-to-one. Next is one-to-many. Next is many-to-one. And next is called as many-to-many. So these are the four types of binary relationship mapping cardinality. We are going to see one by one. What is meant by one-to-one, what is meant by one-to-many, and many-to-one and many-to-many. So first is we are going to see one-to-one. Okay. So what is this one-to-one mapping cardinality? An entity in A is associated with at most one entity in B. An entity B is associated with at most one entity in A. It is called as one-to-one mapping cardinality. So keep in mind, these words are very important. Entity present in A is associated with at most one entity, maximum one entity in the entity set B. And again, entity in B is again at most one entity associated with present in the entity set A. It is called as one-to-one mapping cardinality. So by looking at this diagram, you will come to know that. So this is our entity set A. This is our entity set A. This is our entity set B. And these are the entities present in the entity set A. A1, A2, A3, A4. And these are the entities present in the set B, that is B1, B2, and B3. In this entities from this entity set A, A1 is associated with B1 and B1 is associated with A1, whereas A2 is associated with B2 and B2 is associated with the A2. This A3 is associated with the B3 and B3 is associated with the A3. Just understand the word here. At most one entity in B. The entity present in the A is associated with the at most one entity in B, that is B1. And B1 is at most one entity associated with at most one entity in set A. So that's why it is called as one-to-one relationship, one-to-one mapping cardinality. Some elements in A and B may not be mapped to any elements in the other set. Suppose, for example, here it is A4 is not mapped to anything or inside the entity set B. So this could be happen one or many elements are not associated with each other. But keep in mind what is meant by one-to-one mapping cardinality is at most one entity of A set is associated with at most one entity in B set. That's why it is called as one-to-one mapping cardinality. Next is the one-to-many. Now you can understand what is the one-to-many mapping cardinality. So an entity in A is associated with any number 0 or more of entities in B. An entity in B, however, can be associated with at most one entity in A. Both the statements are very important. In one-to-many, entity in A is associated with any number 0 or more of entities in B. Whereas the entity in B can be associated with at most one entity in A. We will see this with the help of diagram so that you will understand what is exactly one-to-many. So in this diagram, we have two entity set A and B. These are the elements present in the entity set A, and these are the elements present in the entity set B. So A1, A2, A3 are present in A, B1, B2, B3, B4 and B5 is present in B. So what happened in this one-to-many cardinality? By looking at the diagram, you can guess what is meant by one-to-many. Where in this one-to-many, this A element present in the A entity set is associated with 0 or more. Okay, here it is, this A1 is associated with B1 and B2. Here it is, this A1 is one entity is associated with the many entities in B entity set B1 and B2. That's why it is called as one-to-many. That's why it is called as one-to-many. Similarly, this A2 is associated with the B3 and B4. That is one-to-many. And this A3 is associated with B5. Okay. So again, I am repeating this statement so that you will understood. An entity in A is associated with any number 0 or more of entities in B. An entity in B can be associated with at most one entity in A. So entity present in the B is associated with at most one entity. This B1 is associated with A1. This B2 is associated with A1. This B3 is associated with A2 only. This B4 is associated with at most one, that is A2. And this B5 is associated with B3. That's why this cardinality is called as one-to-many. By looking at this diagram, you will understand what is meant by one-to-many. As the name suggests, this one entity is related to many entities in the entity set B. That's why it is called as one-to-many. Again, there are some elements in A and B. They are not marked to any elements in each other set. So next is many to one. Now you can guess or you can imagine what is meant by many to one. A many to one, an entity in A is associated with at most one entity in B. An entity in B, however, can be associated with any number that is 0 or more of entities in A. It is called as many to one. So this is the diagrammatic representation to understand many to one. So here it is, A1 and A2 is associated with B1. These many elements in A is associated with one element in entity set B. That's why it is called as many to 1. Whereas this A3 is associated with B2, this A4 and A5 is associated with B3. That's why it is called as many to 1. The entities present in A is associated with the B at most 1, whereas entity in B is associated with the entities present in the A is of 0 or more entities. That's why it is called as many to 1 mapping cardinality. Next is called as many to many. Now you can understand what is that many to many. An entity in A is associated with any number that is 0 or more of the entities in B. An entity in B is associated with any number 0 or more of entities in A. So diagrammatically it will look like this. The entities present in the A1 is associated with B1 as well as it will associate it with the B2. Whereas this B1 is associated with A1 and this B1 is again associated with the A2. There is a relationship between these entities many to many. This one entity is associated with many entities in this entity set B, whereas this entity present in the B is associated with many entities present in the entity set A. That's why it is called as many to many. That's why it is called as many to many. Many to many. So these are the different types of mapping cardinalities. In this, you are going to see these are the different types of mapping cardinalities. That is 1 to 1, 1 to many, many to 1, and many to many. So these are categorized based on the association between the entities present in the set A and B. So next point is participation constraints. So what is meant by participation constraint? The participation of an entity set E in a relation set R is said to be total if every entity in E participate in at least one relationship in R. Okay, that is called as total participation. Participation of an entity set E in relationship set R is said to be total if every entity present in E must be participated at least one relationship in R. It is called as total participation. Whereas if only some entities in E, that is entity set E, participate in the relationship set R, then the participation of entity set E in relationship R is said to be partial. So diagrammatically, it will look like this. This is set A and set B. In set A, there are 4 elements, and these 4 elements, among these 4 elements, 3 elements are associated, have a participation in the elements present in the B. This one element is not participated in the relationship. So this is called as partial participation of entity set A into a relationship R. Whereas in this example, A and B are 2 entity sets. There are 3 elements present in the 3 sets present in the entity set A, A1, A2, and A3. And these are the entities present in the set B, B1, B2, B3, B4, and B5. And all the entities are participated in the relationship. A1 is participated to B1, B2. Again, this A2 is participated. Again, this A3 is participated. Whereas all the B1 to B5 all are participated in the relationship. So it is called as total participation, and these are called as participation constraints. Again, I am repeating, this entity set A is partially participated in the relationship because one element is not participated. If all the elements are participated in the relationship, then it is called as total participation. This is called as total participation. If some or if a particular element is not participating in the relationship, then it becomes partial participation. So these are the two participation constraints. As the name suggests, you can understand what is meant by participation constraint. There are two types. One is total participation. Next one is called as partial participation. So if all the elements are participating, then it is total participation. If few are not participating, then it is a partial participation. Next, we are going to see different relationship types. So these are the different types of relationship. First one is called as one-to-one relationship. Then next is called as one-to-many relationship. Next is called as many-to-one relationship. And next is called as many-to-many relationship. So these are the different types of relationship types. We are going to see one by one. First is one-to-one relationship. Now you can understand what is one-to-one relationship. When only one instance of an entity is associated with the relationship, then it is known as one-to-one relationship. Only one instance of entity is associated with the relationship, that is participated in the relationship, then it is called as one-to-one relationship. For example, this is the example of one-to-one relationship. A female can marry to one male, and male can marry to one female. So diagrammatically, it will, in the ER diagram, you have to represent like this. This is our female entity, this is our male entity, and they are having the relationship married to. And these are called as the participation. How many elements are participated? So this female is married to one male, and this male is married to one female. So this is the example of one-to-one relationship, and you have to mention over here number how many elements are participated or how many instances are participated into a relationship. So this is the example of one-to-one relationship, wherein this entity's instance is one entity instance is participated into this relationship married to. Again, I am repeating, one-to-one relationship nothing but when only one instance of an entity is associated with the relationship, then it is known as one-to-one relationship. For example, a female can marry to one male and male can marry to one female. Diagrammatically, you have to represent like this. This is your female entity represented in a rectangle. This is a male entity. This is our relationship married to, and then this one female is married to one male, and this one male is married to one female. So this is called as one-to-one relationship. Next is one-to-many relationship. In this one-to-many relationship, when only one instance of entity on the left and more than one instance of entity on the right associated with the relationship, then it is known as one-to-many relationship. One instance of one entity is in a relationship with many instances of another relationship. Here it is the example. Doctor can treat many patients. This is called as one-to-one, one-to-many relationship. A doctor can treat many patients, but the treatment is done by only specific doctor. So here it is. We have entity doctor and patients, and relationship is what? Treat. That is treatment of to the patients. So how we define this one-to-many relationship? This one doctor, you have to give the number over here. This one doctor is treated to many patients. I have written M is for many patients. So by looking at this diagram, you can understand what is meant by one-to-many relationship. One instance of this entity is participated into, or it is associated with the many instances of the entities present on the right. So here it is, one doctor is treated many patients. So it is of example of one-to-many relationship, and this is how you have to represent one-to-many relationship. Next is many-to-one relationship. When more than one instance of entity on the left and only one instance of the entity on the right associated with the relationship, then it is known as many-to-one relationship. Then it becomes many-to-one relationship. We will see this with the example. For example, student enrolls for one course, but a course can have many students. Here it is, a particular student or many students enrolls for a particular course, one course. Okay, for time being considered here it is only one course. So this one course may have many students, and we can say like this also, many students enrolls for one course. Many students enrolls for one course. Okay, so this is the example of many-to-one relationship, wherein this MA you have to represent over here, which indicates that the student entity having many instances which are in relation enrolls with the entity course with one instance of this course entity. That's why it is called as many-to-one relationship. Next is many-to-many relationship. Now you can understand what is meant by many-to-many relationship. When more than one instance of the entity on the left and more than one instance of an entity on the right associated with the relationship, then it is known as many-to-many relationship. For example, employee can assign by many projects, and project can have many employees. So here it is. An employee, many employees can assign to many projects, and many projects can have many employees. This is called as many-to-many relationship, and it is represented with this notation. M indicates this employee set having many instances in the relationship assigned, whereas this projects having many instances in the relationship assigned. So this is the example of many-to-many relationship. You can have number of examples. I have taken only one example here to understand what is meant by many-to-many relationship. So next is notations for the ER diagram. So ER diagram is a visual representation of data that describes how data is related to each other. How the data is related with each other. Rectangle. So this rectangle, this represents the entity types. So this rectangle represents the entity. To represent entity, you have to represent using the rectangle. The next is ellipse. This symbol represents attributes. So this ellipse is represent the attribute. Or if you have attributes, you have to represent in the ellipse. Next is diamonds. This symbol represents relationship types. So this diamond, here it is, represent the relationship. These are the standard notation, and you have to make use of all this notation to draw the ER diagrams. Next is lines. Now a simple line, it links attributes to entity types and entity types with other relationship types. That is lines. Primary key attributes are underlined. We will see it in the next lecture. Double ellipse. It represents multi-valued attribute. Okay, these are multi-valued attribute. Double ellipse. Multi-valued attribute. Whereas this double rectangle, it is called as weak entity. And whereas this double diamond is called as weak relationship. We'll see it later on. We have not seen this. Some clarity or some practice you need to understand. It's not too much difficult, but you need some practice to understand weak entity and weak relationship. So we have seen entity, attributes, types, entity, attribute, relationship, and multi-valued attribute. So these are the standard notations to represent the things in the ER diagram. So next is cardinality relationship. How this, we have seen cardinality, how to represent it. So this is the way to represent it. Relationship cardinality. So this is the relation. This double line indicates one, mandatory one. Okay, this entity is associated with one entity in this relationship. So this double line indicates it is a one. To represent one-to-one mapping cardinality, you have to represent like this in ER notation. Next is this line and this multiple lines over here. It is called as mandatory, many. To represent many, you have to represent like this, line and multiple lines. Okay. Next is this symbol, a small circle and one line is optional one. And here it is, one symbol and multiple lines. It is the optional mean. Optional means there may be one or may not be. Optional meaning means there could be many or may not be. So these are the some notations used in the ER diagram to draw the ER diagram.